driving for a while and you feel like you've hit a plateau and you're just not improving anymore. You've upgraded your hardware, but you're still not able to be as fast as you would like. Well, guess what? I did that too, okay? I'm as guilty as you are. And that's exactly why Racine and myself created what we call the advanced way to learn. By using the techniques that we're about to show you, we were able to win national championships, and we're now coaching real-life drivers and sim racers all across the globe. So let me tell you why you absolutely need this to improve your racing skills. On this platform, you'll go through 5 learning steps. The first one is going to be to watch video lessons so you can take in all that theory. The second step will be to answer quizzes. We've created some questions to test your knowledge. Next, you'll have to partake in challenges. Here, you'll have to prove to yourself that you can apply what you've learned. You'll go on track and you'll try to beat the instructor's lap times for sector times. Following the challenge, you'll be able to send your onboard replay so instructors and other community members can help you improve. And lastly, you can get involved in the community to meet some new teammates and learn from others. This platform is a back and forth discussion between us, the instructor, and you, the students. If you're serious about becoming the best driver out there, this is the advanced way to learn.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
The Precision Racing League is back after a long 4 weeks of waiting. We've got nights of racing coming up for you for the next 5 over the course of our time here on RaceSpotTV. It's the Sunday night PRL Cup Series, which returns after 1 season away. We come to Tennessee in the Bristol Motor Speedway to get ourselves off to a short and very frantic start indeed. Welcome along to live coverage of round 1 of the PRL Fixed Cup Series here live from Bristol Motor Speedway with myself, Una Leary, and Lorenzo Bonda alongside me. Hugo Louise behind the cameras as well. Great to be back, Lorenzo. We've had a season away, unfortunately, in the Cup Series, but we're back again with a very interesting schedule to come. Short track racing like we've got here at Bristol to come, as well as Martinsville at the start of November. Super Speedway racing at Talladega and Atlanta with some mile and a halves in between. It's an interesting schedule on the Cup Series return to the PRL.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a mixed bag of everything, right? We got short speedways, long speedways, super speedways. So we start with the shortest one of the season. We start with Bristol. We know the yellow flags are plenty. We hope we don't get it over here. But good to see the stadium back for more Cup action.
Absolutely, and even a Roval in there as well, Charlotte Motor Speedway on the 13th of October. All of them, of course, live here on RaceSpotTV with myself and Lorenzo over the course of the next 9 weeks here on Sunday nights. Of course, no championship standings to show you, none from last season either, and of course news about the playoffs too, which normally we would have in Season 4 of any PRL Cup Series competition, but on this time around, unfortunately, we do not have them. So it's a straight race to the flag for everybody in terms of championship points. Let's first of all, though, before we get into qualifying, thank the sponsors who make this broadcast possible, starting with Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminium profile racing simulation cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, from the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit raceboxsimracing.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. The Book Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And finally, Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Big thanks to all of those who make these broadcasts possible. As I say, over each of the next 5 nights for the next 9 weeks, we'll be bringing you live action from all over the motorsport world in all sorts of different machinery, starting here from Cup Series Sunday, which returns again in the Precision Racing League. We're into qualifying then. The first times have already come in. Jean-Michel Gagnon is the current fastest driver by just 13 thousandths of a second. Robert Bisor Jr. currently in second place, and it will be a long race relatively, Lorenzo, but I would suggest qualifying will be quite important. That early crash that everyone's expecting will have to be avoided, and to do that, you'll have to be at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the key aspects about Bristol is normally we say that clean traffic is king, and clean air is your best friend over here, because you're normally going to be fighting side by side, or you're going to be wasting your rubber trying to overtake people on these long bankings. There's 24 to 28 degree bankings on the turns and 5 to 9 when you come out of the corners to the front in the back stretch. So there is a gradual progression and can waste the car off, especially if you go continuously side by side. So getting that front pack, let's just say top 4, will give you a little bit of an advantage over your competition. And I really am interested to see like guys like Bisor, for example, already having a strong start against, for example, like the private label team Hype Boys that we're seeing over James Bryan, Abner Acosta, and other people.
Yep, Jens O'Brien has taken pole 30 times in the Precision Racing League, looking to make that 31 here with this lap at the 109 as well of Stephen Kirby, looking to move up towards the front. James O'Brien goes third. What about Stephen Kirby? Looks like he's winding up for a lap here. Gabriel Perry goes up to 5th position. Kirby goes up on the banks. Are these lap times counting at the moment? I think we're about to, or we've just begun one with Kirby here in the number 109. The final of the drivers to set just 2 laps. You only get 2 laps, of course. There's the first one, 14.5. Should put him inside the 8th row, maybe 7th row, something like that, if it's going to count, that is. Doesn't look like it has. Through 3 and 4 again. You get very dizzy following these cars. Now, there they go, 17th for now, and then another lap there in the wall at the end. Might well move him up, but not entirely sure. It does indeed move him up to 16th position. The big shock there, Lorenzo, Abner Acosta's down in 14th.
Yeah, but again, like, the gaps are so close, right? 1/10 of a second separates basically the top 15, and we'll get back to the grading to have more information about that.
Yeah, we'll chat about that again in a few moments' time as we look at the grid for the first time this season in its entirety. Jean-Michel Gagnon is on pole ahead of Robert Bissell Jr. James O'Brien will be alongside Lou Christian on row 2 with Gabriel Perry and Pat Harvey, who's on the outside of row 3. Mark Kalin's on the inside of 4 with Patrick Cowgill on the outside. Jose Medina and Unai Ilmas will round out the top 10. Chad Kibbe and Scotty Johnson are on row 6 together. It will be Brandon Walter and Abner Acosta surprisingly down in 14th with Mathieu Denis and Stephen Kirby sharing row 8. Warder Warden and Austin Hunter round out row 9 with Mike Richter and Alex Hillman, the final drivers to qualify. 20 drivers in the field. They all qualified successfully. They'll all get themselves onto the grid for this race as well. There they are, getting themselves onto the front straight, in fact, for this race. Yeah, I mean, more thoughts from you, Lorenzo, about Abner Acosta there? I mean, it's such a tight qualifying session that actually he wasn't that far off pole, but still could be down in 14th place. But, you know, it's a real surprise to see. You really don't get that from him very often. Is that going to hold him back in this race, or can he still move through to the front?
I can still believe he's going to move through the front. The problem is how does he move that? Because, like I said, this is a very tight track. Overtaking over here will require maybe some argy-bargies or some precise overtaking, right? And maybe the tire strategy over here is going to be very crucial for you to, you know, have an everlasting stint. Because, like I said, this is not your traditional asphalt. There's a little bit of concrete in Bristol, therefore the rubber works differently over a different surface that you have, like, let's just say Daytona or Talladega or other asphalt base tracks that you have in NASCAR. So you have to be, you know, managing the throttle and the curve entry and exit to extend that longevity you're gonna have on the tires. So I'm looking forward to see how does he manage that starting from the mid-pack.
Good evening to everyone who's watching here live on RaceSpotTV this evening. By the way, Austin Hunter's just popped himself into YouTube chat to say he's horrific in this car and that someone has to be last. Well, it's not you, so don't worry. 18th place for Austin Hunter in that qualifying session. Mike Richter and Alex Hillman will bring up the rear. You can see all 20 of them from the rear end of the pace car as we go under the lights at Bristol. It's the fall race at Bristol, which is often run under the lights and has never been changed to a dirt race, thankfully, which I'm quite pleased about, if I'm honest with you. Been racing here in the NASCAR Cup Series in real life since 1961. It's not exactly a new circuit to the fold, Bristol, although the dirt is, I suppose, on it. But yes, it's a historic track in NASCAR circles, and for good reason as well, Lorenzo. Great races often around here. Hopefully we've got another one tonight.
Absolutely, and what I like about Bristol is I think on these past few years, right, we've seen the transition of not just being a racetrack. This is also used on other ventures. We've seen that being used for college football. You see the Battle of Bristol, other racing events. Baseball games already were hosted here. I think hockey was talked about to go over here as well. So here we go.
Here we go. Green flag waves on the Precision Racing League Cup Series, returning after a season away. We're green here at Bristol. And the first lap of the season led by Jean-Michel Gagnon, taking pole, taking the early lead as well. James O'Brien gets into second place as Gabriel Perry into third. Robert Bissell Jr. showing the dangers maybe of starting on the outside through the opening restart here. And already, we've got trouble already. The 13 goes around, and smashed into as well. Gabriel Perry smashed into, I'm afraid, by Patrick Cowgill by the looks of it, who's dropping down the field. And unfortunately, we have our first caution of the season, barely 2 laps in.
Yeah, not even surprised about maybe an early caution. I think the tires are cold over here, and the way you throw your car around the corner right here, can make your rear ends get a little bit coming into the entry, especially if you're on the low side, which I think happened right there with the number 13. You see everybody taking avoiding action, and Cowgill just, you know, couldn't do anything by avoiding them.
Sorry, yeah, it wasn't Cowgill who smashed into Perry. I wonder who it was then. Was it Scotty Johnson, maybe? This is how Perry did it, by the way. Just entered on the apron by the looks of things, spun around, couldn't stop himself, smash! Scotty Johnson, I think it is, who got into him. We'll have another view from here. He was already getting a bit loose here, and then that's why he entered so low. There he just clips the apron. Might not have mattered because he was entering so low. And anyway, but there it is, Johnson getting into the side of him. And very nearly got away with that, Perry, but unfortunately those two are going to have to repair damage, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. All I can say is you're going to apologize to me even already. It's already Monday, but I have to say this already. The track was definitely not a match for Gabriel Perry right there. Hashtag Tinder.
Yeah. Hashtag free appetite. I'm not sure they paid him to do that. Anyway, he's sporting the pink car today. For whatever reason. He and Johnson both in the pit lane, by the way. Robert Bissell Jr. also decides to come in. He went backwards off the start there on the outside of the front row. I wonder whether that will be a bit of a factor for the remainder of this race. Will the driver starting in these restarts from second be at such a disadvantage as Bissell Jr. was there, or was that just an anomaly? I wonder what we're going to see in this next restart.
Yeah, this has got me curious as well, and I was trying to watch the top split broadcast that we had at RaceSpot over the Bristol 500 for the for what we call the NIS, right? The NASCAR iRacing Series, right? Of course, Bristol 500 and everything. So the strategy plays out a little bit differently. But normally, if you're on the outside, because if Bristol is a funny track, it's very deceiving. That high banking poses on you on the exit of the corners off 2 and 4 so fast that you don't even realize, kind of like Nashville coming out of 4, the wall's already right on your face, and it's not like Darlington where you have to ride the wall. Can get things complicated. Let's go, first restart.
Here we go, the lights off on top of the pace car. We're ready to go again. Jean-Michel Gagnon looking to repeat the actual start with a good restart here at Bristol. Green flag back in the air. Oh, look at that. The outside of row 1, not a curse, as James O'Brien proves. Right up to the high side through 1 and 2, and he takes the lead. Over the line again. Sorry, over the line again. 10 laps gone. Yeah, I mean, wasn't expecting to see that. We saw second place go backwards on the actual start. On the first restart, James O'Brien was flying there.
I think maybe Brian committed a little bit more than Gagnon was expected. He thought he would actually calm down a little bit and break off, but Gagnon's restart wasn't the best. I'm gonna call you on that. And if you're gonna restart on the inside, you have to be aggressive, throwing the car into number 1 and 3. And Gagnon, I think, just wanted to play a little bit more conservative. Don't overstretch the tires already early on in the stint. That allowed O'Brien to go in and now lead the race from already lap 13 onwards.
On board with Pat Harvey here, who's made his bed in the background, which is always a good sign.
Nice.
He's currently in 5th position. We were told, by the way, on the actual start that Pat Harvey went absolutely nowhere for whatever reason. Don't know why. And he didn't drop terribly down the order, but still, he is down in 5th place as Mark Kalin now gets himself up into 2nd position, ahead of Jean-Michel Gagnon. Good pass on the inside, and Kalin maybe looking for the lead. Look at him go in the 62 as we round 3 and 4 onto another lap. Mark Kalin just looking for the, excuse me, that's 1 and 2. Here's 3 and 4. Looking up the inside through 3 and 4. Side by side for the lead. James O'Brien will hang on out there, and he seems to be enjoying the high line.
Yeah. It can work a little bit for him, but for now, O'Brien doing a really stout defending holding that inside line, and whenever he had the outside line, I think he had a really good run and didn't allow Kalen to go through. So let's see what our number 62 has in store for the Seoul Pack Racing.
So close behind James O'Brien here, but what I'm going to say is clearly a Ryan Blaney fan, Mark Kalen.
Good,
I didn't know that about him.
Good fan.
I didn't know that about him, actually. Patrick Cowgill looks to have been off somewhere around the pace, but no caution. We stay green for the moment, and Mark Kalen will be pleased about that as he gets the bumper to James O'Brien. Barely 7 minutes gone here at Bristol. We've got 1 hour timed races this season, by the way. We're already approaching lap 20 in this race. They do get reeled off very, very quickly around this place, and Kalen has got close to O'Brien, but he's not really shown any signs of getting through just for the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Now here's the thing about, like I said, Bristol. It's not an easy track for you to overtake. You have to overcommit a little bit, but now good to see Gaillon trying to recover on this race so far. We're going to see what happens out to Lamas coming into turn number 3, I think.
Yeah, dumped in the wall by Mike Richter in the 51 there. That was indeed 3 and 4. Unai Elmas getting through the line again in 18th place. He'll have some damage to repair, I would have thought. Speaking of which, still damage repair going on for Scotty Johnson and Gabriel Perry, who are still last and second last at the very back of the field. This is Austin Hunter, who's riding around towards the back in 13th position at the moment, behind Alex Hillman, who's moved up 8 places after qualifying last, and might be passed here by Hunter. Looking up the inside, side by side they go, and through goes Hillman, or continues at least, in 12th position. The spread of the field, by the way, 9 seconds already. Not the biggest field, which does help, but generally around Bristol, traffic is a real problem, and staying on the lead lap as well is a real problem for every driver. As Patrick Cargill comes into the pit lane, that will be off the lead lap for him.
Yeah, I think this is one of those tracks that I would say maybe Darlington might be the other one, and Martinsville we're going to see in November, like you said, it might be the real complicators. But then again, they kind of have a gentlemanly rule of, you know, letting other people by more easily in those short tracks can actually make or break the lead of a leader like that. Normally, like I said, clean air here is king, but traffic can be your big detriment as you go on.
Look at that, Mike Richter around the outside of Jose Medina here for 7th position. Over the line they go, and Richter is flying around the top, and he gets up to 7th, says hesitantly, and now does finally through decisively into 7th position. Cowgill, by the way, back in the pit lane because of a meatball flag snapped right into the outside wall. So he is in pit lane, and there he is. He's actually waiting for an interview. I don't know if we can bring him in and have a chat with him. I'm sure we can. We'll just bring him in and give it a go. Patrick, welcome in. Good to have you with us. Not under these circumstances, of course, but tell us what happened out there.
I got into my teammate on accident. Kind of came down on his nose, I think, and it sent me up into the wall. And after that, I think I broke something, and it made me super loose, and then I ended up hitting the wall and had to tow.
What were your expectations for this race? I guess this kind of thing is very easily done around Bristol.
I mean, I love Bristol, and I felt pretty good during practice and at the start of the race, but then that wreck occurred and I hit the brakes and my car spun out, and after that it just didn't feel good anymore.
Are we going to see you back out there again if you can get it repaired?
It says that I have about 9 minutes of repairs left, so I guess I'll probably bring it back out for a little bit.
All right, well, it'd be good to see you if possible. If not, then in future rounds, of course. Thanks for coming to chat to us, and better luck next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. Patrick Cowgill there chatting to us from pit lane after an incident snapping a big snap of oversteer into the outside wall and a meatball for him. He is dropping down the field as we speak. Scotty Johnson, by the way, out of pit lane. He's 20 laps down as things stand, but as I referenced there, Lorenzo, these things happen at Bristol.
All the time. Never surprised. Like I said, it's one of those tracks that are going to be really tricky to you, and if you don't have the hang around Bristol, it's gonna bite you in the rear immediately, and it's not gonna bite like soft. It bites hard, and whenever it bites hard, it nearly race ending, as we nearly saw between the 51 and the number 21 of Richter and Luke Christian.
Very close between these two, but Richter is moving through the field. 5th position for Richter now. Luke Christian overtaken. Pat Harvey's lost a couple of places since the restart now as well. He's 7th in the 67, followed by Jose Medina, Chad Kibbe, Brandon Walter and Mathieu Denis all involved in this group, and Rob Bixler Jr. not too far away either. We're about to see lap traffic, by the way, for the leaders for the first time. James O'Brien still leads. Mark Kalin at the front of the field, as in the wall, Richter right at the very top. Let's go on board with Pat Harvey and see what it looks like. This battle for 5th position from on the ground. It is the biggest group in the field and a lively battle as well.
Yeah, and you can see, I don't know what Harvey is saying over his comms, I think with his teammates or engineer, I don't know. But you can see, that, like, for example, Richter is trying to break away, but Christian is already trying to do a really good job on the inside. And the good bit about Bristol, you don't have that, you know, what can I say, the arrow push effect. Because it is a short track, so you can basically ride the back bumper of the car pretty much the entire turn.
It feels fast because it's such a short circuit, but it's not actually in terms of miles an hour. Meanwhile, change for 3rd place, by the way. Abner Acosta is ahead of pole sitter Jean-Michel Gagnon, who took, by the way, his first PRL pole position here earlier on today. But a great move for Luke Christian there as well. He's up to 5th position, but Abner Acosta into 3rd. You said, Lorenzo, that it wouldn't be unexpected if he moved through the field, and that's exactly what he's done. He's only 1.6 seconds off the lead right now, 1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 and closing. I think he's faster than Kalin on the previous lap by margins of a second. So we could definitely see a battle for P2 in a short bit.
Oh, close. Mike Richter and Jose Medina through turn 4. Medina in the 24, just getting to the inside, got to the quarter panel off the corner, and it looks like Richter, running out wide and up high for so long, has really damaged his tyres, and now he's finding the wall quite often. In the wall again there at 3 and 4 that time round. He's overtaken by Medina, and he's again in the wall. Richter needs to get towards the bottom here. He's really struggling.
The question is, I don't think he has tires to go to the bottom. I think he overused his tires a little bit. That's why he's going to the top lane. It works of sorts. It's weird, but it's not effective for Bristol. I think if he had more of a rubber line right there, it probably would have worked to his effect. But you lose time and you waste the rears a little bit more than you probably should.
Look at this. This is a view from Chad Kibbe, who is sat there in 10th place at the moment, looking at Walter and Richter. And he's finding his groove a little bit again, Richter there, up high. And now Walter follows him. Kibbe goes to the low side and looks to have the run here. Stays alongside him towards 1 and 2 again. And now might get some joy. Now might get into 8th place indeed. But this is a great view from on board in the cockpit. This is exactly what the drivers see, of course, when they're embroiled in battles like this.
Yeah, and Bristol, I think, is one of the worst tracks for you to drive with one monitor. I don't know if Kibbe has 3 or ultra wide, but you have to rely on the spotter so much that sometimes you're bound to make a failure.
It's very fast pace for the iRacing spotters to keep up with as well. Let's hope that most of these drivers, I'm sure they will, have a real person there which they can really use a little bit better. Mike Richter saying over the radio, by the way, what we suspected. He believes that he's burned his tyres up now, and he's really beginning to suffer with that. Maybe he will be a little bit more cautious in runs to come, because they do have 3 sets of tyres to change onto, by the way. If you space those evenly throughout the race, you'd use a set of tyres every 15 minutes. Well, we've passed 15 minutes now, and so I'd expect to see pit stops at the next caution.
Yeah, definitely. The question is when it comes.
Not if.
Not if. I know Bristol way too much. It's gonna happen. The question is where and when.
Well, and it may be here, 3 wide into 1 and 2. As Jean-Michel Gagnon has been overtaken by Abner Acosta. So now is Mark Kalin, who might be suffering with burnt up tyres as well.
Yeah, because there's a certain point where the like I said, you kind of have to throw the car to the inside and maintain some stability all around the corner and try to remain as low as possible. Because that would be the preferred line over here in Bristol. But the question is, how do you throw the car into 1 and 3, which can easily kill the tire life? And that could be the case for the number 51 Richter. That could be the case for Kalen. So let's see how this will go as times go by.
I think easily the most entertaining driver to watch in the field right now is Mike Richter, even if he is struggling this much. Here goes Brandon Walter to the inside, and Richter's in the wall again. Basically using it to drive at the moment, Richter. He's just using it as a bit of a crutch on the outside, and now the 99 slides up in front of him, allowing Stephen Kirby to get through on the inside. 11th for Kirby now. He's moving forward. Mathieu Denis just in behind, and then we've got lap traffic. Scotty Johnson and Gabriel Perry, by the way, are both back out onto the circuit. There's the pink car of Perry, who's on new tyres, and it's pretty awkward for these guys who are 20 and 30 laps down, because they are faster, but they don't really want to get in the way.
Yeah, and I think he was trying to take the Ross Chastain line right there, but then again, he kind of have to remind himself, this is not Martinsville. He's going to get to Martinsville right in about a month or so, but these cars are not made to ride like Chastain did back in Martinsville. It's not going to work.
It's also banned now, I think, in real life. So,
yeah, it's banned. It's banned. Yeah.
Probably for the best, otherwise you get everyone doing it on the last lap, which would not be brilliant. But anyway, one for the history books. Contacts! Oh dear, through 1 and 2. Richter and Denis, I think that was, coming together in the 6-17. Mathieu Denis looking for a way through. Richter's struggling so much on these tyres. He's begging for a caution at the moment, but if he's not careful, he'll become it. There he is in the wall again. And following him that time was Gabriel Perry in the 13. Denis, for whatever reason, can't find his way through either. He's maybe not got the freshest of tyres at the moment, but Richter certainly has got some of the worst in the field. Still side by side, as the 51, I think, has been side by side with someone for approximately the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Here's the battle for 5th, by the way. Excuse me. Here's the battle for 5th. Pat Harvey and Luke Christian embroiled in traffic, which is becoming a problem, by the way. Hillman, Yamas and Hunter are all a lap down legitimately.
Yeah, and you can see Hillman already kind of trying to make this easy, going to the high lane. That's what normally happens in tracks like these short tracks, these short ovals. They usually take the high lane, go a little bit slower than the other cars go by. Is the gentlemanly rule. Of course, we don't have blue flag, so a little bit of contact for Hillman coming out of number 4. But you really want to try to make this easier to the leaders. So far, so good for everybody. Still green flag. And I think there's one point of discussion. How many people there prepare for the really long run around Bristol?
Good point. I think James O'Brien might be one of them, but can't see too many others who really must have prepared well for a long run. James O'Brien, by the way, the reason I say that is he's out to 3 seconds now, his lead, and he's continuing to extend it after taking that lead on the early restart. Yeah, I think you're right. Not many people were expecting this, but it's good to see. After I did a NASCAR series race at Bristol, commentated that is, last Thursday, a week and a half ago. Then we had the Bristol 500 here on RaceSpotTV on Friday night as well. Not too many long green flag runs, and so you're right. It wouldn't have come into their thinking.
No, but also we have to take into consideration they do the official series, and the official series is about I think give or take about 175 laps. So it's a really long run. It could be up to 2 hours depending on how yellow flag ridden is the race. And then they have the 500. For example, I wouldn't be surprised how O'Brien and Acosta are doing, because I know they probably are. They have done the NIS because of Team Conti and everything, and it just eases up the job for them. I wonder how the other teams are actually managing with their setups and everything, how it does for the long run. Contact.
Steady. Mark Kalin there, very nearly fed into the wall by Luke Christian, and then Pat Harvey's just in behind as well. I think Kalin has gone a little bit too deep on this early part of the race, and so he's starting to suffer. Now Harvey just sees the opportunity, looking up the inside and towards 3 and 4. And he should have the place here. That'll be top 5 for Pat Harvey. Or maybe eventually he can get there. 2-run door-to-door through 1 and 2. Kevin holding on well through the high side, but I'm not entirely sure his car likes running up there. It's just a necessity because of his tyres. Hits the wall slightly off the 4 as well. Now Pat Harvey will be through. Hearing word, by the way, that Patrick Cowgill becomes our first retirement of the day. His down is too severe to continue after that early crash.
Oh, fortunate.
Yeah, sad news for him indeed, but hopefully he'll return in 1 week's time. We'll be going racing at Kansas, by the way, 6th of October. So, excuse me, 29th of September. I can't count to 7. That's 29th of September, excuse me, on Sunday night for the second round of PRL Cup Series action here on RaceSpotTV. Be good to have your company. Here is Abner Acosta in the 5 getting caught now. This is something you don't see very often. Luke Christian through the middle, 3 wide with a lap car and Abner Acosta, and Luke Christian is in the top 3.
Well done for Christian. But then I was looking into Acosta's lap times. Last lap 16s, only O'Brien, Gagnon, and Christian are on the 15s regular, even though Pat Harvey also on the charge as well. I think Acosta might be in a world of trouble once that number 67 goes on the inside and makes the overtake work.
Patrick Cowgill telling us, by the way, his wheel was turned 45 degrees to the right on the straight, which was pretty disconcerting. So he's pulled it in, and that is a retirement. Here goes Pat Harvey on the outside of 3 and 4. He's really thrown it in this time. He'll be using up some of those tyres, but he sees it as a investment worth making. Pat Harvey up to 4th place. Abner Acosta beginning to slip and slide. Maybe he's been caught out by this long run too.
Remember when I said about making a way through traffic? You're starting in the mid-pack, and you have to find ways to try to keep the tire longevity, and how you try to, make the overtakes work on the mid-pack, try to get up, and at the same time maintain tire longevity. I don't think the longevity portion Acosta didn't take too well, but then again, it's the first in. But a question is, I think this can actually be a one-stop race because they're not in the throttle way too much. They kind of have to lift the car a little bit, and you kind of can make this one stop. The question is, how aggressive are you on the exits, though?
Yeah, this race would be about just over 230 laps if it was green the whole way, and even that would be a one-stop. So, even with cautions, it should definitely be a one-stop should push come to shove. I'm beginning to wonder out loud how long these cars can actually go. We're not really worried about fuel, but as we've just been reminded, the warning for the front right tyre might well be coming up for a few of these drivers. Haven't yet seen anybody come in for a scheduled pit stop, of course, other than Robert Pistol Jr., who did make a 4.6 second pit stop under the caution. All it's done really is embedded him in traffic. Now, is Waldo Walden making a scheduled pit stop in the 84, I wonder? And you'd imagine, Lorenzo, as soon as the first one comes in, they'll all be barreling in.
Could be, because I know for a fact you have to extend the tire life as much as you can. Well, that's pretty much obvious, duh, but then it's Bristol, and you come to the fact that sometimes fuel can actually outlive the tires right here. Yeah. It's just how aggressive you are early on the stint. And I have a caution.
Wow. So if that was a pit stop for Waldo Walden, I believe it was, and for Alex Hillman as well, they're going to be trapped quite a few laps down, 3 laps down indeed. As the caution flies with 35 minutes to go, everyone will be in here. James O'Brien leading. Ahead of Jean-Michel Gagnon, Pat Harvey, Luke Christian and Abner Acosta. This is what happened though. Robert Pistol Jr. has lost a couple of places as a result of this contact with the 23 of Chad Kibbe, who is 8th, or who is now 8th. Now, let's make the heads and tail of this, shall we? In towards turn 3 and 4. I think Kibbe there is just coming up the hill, isn't he?
Yeah, but then again, racing said I don't think Kibbe wanted to do that. I think he just lost a little bit of reference coming into turn number 1, and the car just basically oversped into the lane, his lane, and got into Bizaw's way, unfortunately.
Well, it wasn't his fault. Excuse me, it wasn't intentional, but it was his fault. Through the pit lane goes James O'Brien, and he'll get back to the lead again after he's driven through the exit of pit. Oh, sorry, they've already done that. Now they're exiting pit lane properly, followed by Jean-Michel Gagnon, Pat Harvey, Lou Christian, Abner Acosta, who will be the front five out the pit lane. The other three haven't been in yet because they're in the second half. Chad Kiwi, Stephen Kirby, and Mike Richter, I'd imagine, are all going to be in as well. They are indeed. And so they were... Oh, dear. Stephen Kirby's made a right mess of that. He's missed his box entirely. He needs to be careful reversing like that. And he's going to get away with it, but that was very awkward. Somebody's gone and then stopped again in the background. Was that Mark Kalin in the background? Not entirely sure on that, but...
that was the knee. That was then the knee.
You might be right, yeah. That was really awkward. So, how very weird. Okay, well, James O'Brien will be leading again. Stephen Kirby is now going to drop down, as the timing screen should. So the top five are as they are, with the infiltration of Mike Richter, who is fifth now. And now he's pitting, and now he's dropping down, so that makes sense. Effectively, we've got the same order. We're just going to restack them with half the race remaining.
Yeah, which is interesting on our books. Kind of like, we never expected to have a race split up into 30-minute portion races.
Yeah, I don't really see it changing. All it's done effectively is just given us a bigger lap count today. I don't really see how it's changed the race much, other than maybe it's just shook up the order a little bit, because as we've been saying, they probably weren't expecting a green flag run like that.
Yep, pretty much.
So I had confirmation through, by the way, Mike Richter just missed his pit box, which is why he was in with the others who had stopped. Now he has dropped towards the back of the lead lap. The laps drivers will get a wave by, or indeed the lucky dog, depending on who they are. Now, I think none of those drivers were just one lap down, were they? So we've got 11 only on the lead lap, with just under 32 minutes remaining. You'd imagine, though, with cautions to come, they will be able to get back onto the lead lap, some of those drivers anyway. For the likes of Waldo Warden or Alex Hillman, though, who pitted at exactly the wrong time, it could be a little bit tricky. So, roughly half the race knocked off here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Time to go racing again for the second restart of the night in the return of the PRL Cup Series. James O'Brien with another good start, but Pat Harvey making the move. Second place for him in the 67, ahead of Jean-Michel Gagnon as they work off two for the second time. It's a good start, but how long's this run going to be, and how's James O'Brien going to stand up to the challenge?
I think with everybody with the same grip on tires, it's going to be a little bit more interesting for us to try to break down, as O'Brien pretty much led without too much of a hassle this race all day long. Now the first time he actually might be in danger. Question is how Harvey manages his tires early on.
Let's see if he can manage them as well as he did in that first stint, because well, the first long stint I should say, because he did go pretty well. Off of four they go again, side by side in the background is for 6th or 7th, I believe. I think it's the likes of Mark Kalin, who's moving up to 4th position. He's on the back of Abner Acosta, and some of these drivers who really fell off in terms of tyre wear in that first stint, I'm going to be very interested to see how cautious they are for this next one, because we're not likely to see a green flag run as long as that previous one again, but equally, if there is, they don't want to be caught out again.
Yeah. I don't think we're gonna... I'm starting to bank on the fact that we're probably not gonna get a nearly 30-minute green flag run.
You never know. You never know. We just had one, basically, so I'm not ruling anything out anymore. Round the outside, by the way, goes... I think that's Brandon Walter up on the high line there, on Jose Medina, just in behind Mark Kalin, and he has got it as well as Walter. Unless I am mistaken with a lapped driver. I think I am. I think I'm confusing him with Matthew Denis again, who I'm struggling to spot today for whatever reason. I don't know why. Third place from Jean-Michel Gagnon, and he's coming under pressure from Lou Christian here. The three getting pretty close, actually, on an occasion. Is that Lou Christian? That's not Lou Christian, is it? He's coming under pressure from a lap car. That's got to be pretty awkward.
Yeah. But then again, I think B's contact. Was that a Acosta? Christian had contact.
Oh, yeah. They did, and Acosta is looking for a way through. This is the real Lou Christian. He's not in fourth place in the order, but he is overall, just for now. Abner Acosta is inside, and he has got through now. Aggressive, but he's made that work. As Mathieu Denis gets involved here, round the outside, along with Mark Kalin, who's on the inside.
And now contact between Denis and Christian. Christian is made back into P6.
Kalin got so close to the wall there off of 2. That was unbelievable. Now he's closing in on Denis and Acosta. They're all closing in on the 4 leaders here, who are getting stacked up behind James O'Brien, probably taking it pretty conservatively early on. This is the problem here with Bristol, I suppose, is that you've got half the field off the lead lap and half of them on it. Robert Bissor Jr., by the way, has just got onto the lead lap the old-fashioned way by passing the leader.
Gotta love the lack of blue flags on oval racing. Makes things more old-fashioned chaotic. I'm all for it. But then again, I think that's why we saw Denis being aggressive, when Christian and Kalin had the battle. He goes around on the outside. He needs to catch Bissau, because right now there was a battle for the lucky dog. And I think right now Denis just can get on the back foot a little bit, just try to ride his best, because now he's a lucky dog.
Yeah, he is for now, because Robert Bissor Jr. is on the lead lap legitimately, so it's all changed here. But Bissor Jr. will be hoping for a caution pretty quickly, otherwise he's going to be swallowed up very substantially by everybody passing him, I would have thought. Mike Richter, I'm afraid, just hit the wall hard off of 4 and crashed into the inside wall. We'll try and get a replay of that when we can, but a hard hit for him, I'm afraid. No caution, but he's going to drop down the field, and a shame really, because he was looking pretty punchy early on, but tyre wear took him earlier on, and then a crash off of turn 4 has taken him for a long stop now.
Yeah, fortunate to see at least he's going to be within our highlight.
Oh, he's out again.
Reel.
Sorry, he's out again.
Yes. That was me trying to do my best Jeremy Clarkson impression. Yes.
Here is the incident. Does he clip the apron? Not really. Just gets loose off the end. Oh, very nearly hit by someone behind him, and it's a very hard hit in the wall. I'm surprised that was only 6 laps worth of damage. 1.5 minutes. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. But I kind of clips the apron of sorts. It's not the apron per se. It's kind of like the compression of the apron.
Yeah, the sort of start of the banking, if you like, which is not quite fully banked in yet, as the battles for Abner Acosta continue. Denis trying to get through. I wonder if Bissor Jr. is already beginning to struggle, or is that James O'Brien catching another lap driver? It's another lap driver by the looks of things. Can't quite identify who it is for the moment. It's Scotty Johnson who he's lapping for now. All of the cars, by the way, who were multiple laps down, as in multiple, like Warden backwards, all went through to get a wave by off the restart there, but now they've got to the back of the pack. They're on really old tyres, and they're being caught by everybody because they didn't stop because they had the wave by. So we could see a few cars getting lapped here for another time in this run.
Yeah, and you were talking about Bissau maybe starting to struggle. Maybe that's the case. I'm actually looking at the lap times right there. Average for everybody's around 14 high, 14.9s. Percent O'Brien 14.95. Harvey 9.7. Gaillon 9.26. Bissau is doing 15.2. So actually, if it is 14.9s, he's actually keeping up. But then again, it goes up with some consistency. So that is the thing, cleaner skin until a certain point.
Certainly is. 25 minutes to go here, by the way. No longer lapped races here in the PRL Cup Series, but an hour racing for us here tonight. We, under green, would have had over 200 laps here at Bristol in an hour, but that seems difficult to come by. We are already on lap 123, though, which is pretty good going. as we go on board with Stephen Kirby now. Brandon Walter just up ahead here, along with Luke Christian, who's dropping backwards in the 21. I wonder whether he's saving himself for later or if he's just struggling.
I think the contacts he might have had with Denis, maybe Acosta, and other drivers might have took a dent on the longevity of his tires. Oh, Kirby. Oh, I swear to God, there was probably a possible contact between him and the 07 of Scotty Johnson.
It was close, but no contact this time round. Scotty Johnson's back to where he was before, 20 laps down. And Gabriel Perry's just got lapped as well by James O'Brien. That's probably causing the driver of the 33 a bit of stress, having to put cars a lap down and keep drivers behind him is not the most relaxing thing in the world. He's just in behind Robert Viso Jr. still here. Just up the road is Waldo Warden as well to be put a lap down. So it's on for the lead at the moment. The top four all covered by less than a second with lap drivers around them. But James O'Brien's very much been in control of this race. He's led over 100 laps now.
Yeah, but the gap, despite how the race has been progressing, has been its closest so far. I think the fact that Brian has Bisa right in front of him might be aiding Harvey, Gagnon, and Acosta and Kalen of sorts to be within that 2-second gap max from first to fifth. So this is why we have still good racing going on. Jean-Michel Gagnon, I'm getting confused with his... not sure whether he's related, but Mathieu Gagnon, who also races in PRL. That was Abner Costa getting through on Gagnon there. Third place for him and continuing to move through the field. But again, he did slip and slide towards the end of that first long run of the race, the second actual run, and getting up into third position here. Is that a sign of a slip to come later? Robert Viso Jr. now is right in front of James O'Brien, who's got a real decision to make here. I don't think he really desperately wants to put the 3-car a lap down, but he's sort of going to have to pretty shortly. Viso Jr. went out hard to get into the front here, get onto the lead lap, hoping for a quick caution, but it's not come, and now he might well get swallowed up. Question is, where is the Denis? Not actually Denis. The one thing he doesn't want to get is a lap down. But then again, if he goes a lap down, Denis becomes a topic of conversation right here. Yeah.
And also, Chad Kibbe probably not too far away from that either. So I know it's only 7.5 seconds at the moment, but it could snowball pretty quickly from there. So Viso Jr. will have to be wary of all of that, as much as he can be in a situation like this, as he battles to get back onto the lead lap here at Bristol again. We're just over a third of the way from the end of this race, by the way. It's been an enthralling one so far. I think some of the top names in NASCAR racing on iRacing could take some notes from this race, Lorenzo. We've had clean and green racing at Bristol. Would you believe it?
Yeah. Not only in iRacing, but in real life as well. It's hard to judge the real life of it, but I didn't watch the race though. But race reports from other people's mouths tell me otherwise.
Yeah, I didn't either. It started at midnight local time here, so I decided against that, as you might expect. Sorry, NASCAR, but have more 1 p.m. Eastern starts and I might watch a bit more. Otherwise it gets quite tricky. Viso Jr. dropping back through the field, then after Acosta also getting through on this occasion. Jean-Michel Gagnon did hold back quite a lot through that first long green flag run, so wouldn't be too worried about him dropping back to a 1.5 seconds away at the moment. Mark Kalin will be closing in on him. Here is the view from the Canadian as he watches side by side going on up ahead. Now, what's that all about? I wonder. Abner Acosta is way up ahead. One of them's Viso Jr. Another one is a driver going laps down, is it here? Difficult to tell from here as Pat Harvey is under severe pressure from Abner Acosta. Look at that in towards turn 1 and 2. James O'Brien getting away, and Abner Acosta wants to give chase.
I mean, he has to. Got an opportunity right here.
Oh, there he goes. Abner Acosta through. Now, who is that on the outside at the moment? Trying to work it out. Richter, it is indeed. Well spotted, Mike Richter. So he's on new tyres here, Richter. That's why He's tearing through the field. Pat Harvey now beginning to slow down. Are his tyres going away, or is he saving them for later? It's the eternal question we've got at this stage, really, because if this race does go green to the end, we're not going to see any green flag stops, I don't think. It will cost you too much, and everyone can make it on fuel. It's just about taking your tyres the distance, which could be quite tricky. So James O'Brien leads by 0.6 of a second from Abner Acosta, who's now got the likes of Mike Richter right behind him. This, by the way, is back for 6th position. Brandon Walters ahead of Luke Christian, Jose Medina and Stephen Kirby, and Chad Kibbe, the final drivers on the lead lap.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at lap times right here and try to have a really good idea what's going on. Maybe I think Harvey's starting to break off just because, and this could be a wild theory. I saw a few laps he was trying to get closer to O'Brien, nearly got into his back bumper coming into number 3, and I think that kind of like killed off the momentum of his car, and the front right could be shot up as his lap times are starting to actually increase in comparison to Acosta and O'Brien by 0.3 of a second.
Well, let's see as we follow Stephen Kirby here on the back of Jose Medina. You see the side-by-side just up ahead between Walter and Christian, and that's Luke Christian on the move, the number 21, up into 6th position now, with 18 minutes remaining. As I mentioned earlier, it's 15 seconds a lap round here, by the way, and so 4 laps a minute if you want to work out how many are remaining, i.e. there are a lot of laps remaining, but I would still hold firm, Lorenzo, that with this amount of time remaining, if there is another caution, then everyone will be in again.
Tire, which I think, yeah, I would say maybe possible. I would risk it. Maybe they would be coming like with 5 minutes to go, 4 minutes to go, when the front rights are starting to scream in agony and ask for help.
Jose Medina in the side of Brandon Walter there as they battle through. We're in form, we've got a yellow. We have a caution. 17 minutes to go at Bristol, and the second big green flag run of the race has come to an end, slightly shorter than the previous one, but still a very nice long green flag run of nearly 20 minutes. And it's who is off? Austin Hunter, who's got a meatball, and he was turned by Unai Ilmas into the wall, and there is pretty obvious evidence.
Fortunate to see Lamas right there spinning him around, but I'm thinking it's another one of those racing incident cases, and we're going to see a very busy pit party. And now question is, who goes for the very courageous 2-tire strategy right here?
I think that would be well, courageous or silly. I think I would go for the silly option there, but we could see it. 4 tyres surely going to be the order of the day. James O'Brien, you can see in the red, has Abner Acosta taken those 4? Yeah, he has taken all 4. He's just very close to O'Brien. So O'Brien will be out first, then it's Abner Acosta, Pat Harvey next, then Gagnon, followed by the rest. Robert Bissell Jr. has stayed out, but he's yet to come in, I would imagine, because of where his pit box is. There he is, coming in. Is he? He should be coming in now, I would have thought. He didn't pit under the first one in the first place, so he's on tyres from about 40 minutes ago, under the very first caution after 2 laps. So there you go, he's now finally in, but he's back on the lead lap, and that was his main objective.
Yeah, that's objective completed. Just don't miss your pit box lane. There you go.
Yep, there we go. So Unai Yamas as well should be back on the lead lap after a wave by. You can see a few drivers ahead of James O'Brien in the queue here. 2 drivers, that is. The 11 is one of them.
The other one might be Richter, I think.
Looks like it from this distance, doesn't it? 5 laps down now. Oh no, he's coming in. Richter wanted to take the tyres then in that case. Austin Hunter coming to YouTube to mention how displeased he is. I mean, it's one of those Bristol things, isn't it? Just getting turned by someone. It's very frustrating, but it's pretty common.
Yeah. You know what Bristol looks like of sorts if we're trying to analyze in a very crude fashion? It looks like the old Colosseums, right? Then again, it is a Colosseum of sorts if we're analyzing from how the stadium looks and the track down below as well. But then it looks like those old Romanian Roman Colosseums, like you have the Colosseum in Rome, and they had other ones back in the old days, where the gladiators are gonna duel it out on the course and see who's the toughest and the most apt to survive wins.
Yeah, it's very easy commentator wordplay, isn't it? Bristol, that's for sure. Colosseum type puns can be made. I've refrained from actually so far, but there you go. You've broken that.
You're doing good. You're doing good. You kind of like you're holding your Peter Mackay and Chaz Raycott in. That's good.
Just gotta, there's a long race. You gotta leave your best till last, as they say. 13 and a half minutes to go here at Bristol. It's the opening round of the PRL Cup Series here on iRacing, making a return for the final season of 2024. Is this the last restart? Somewhat doubtful, but with 13 and a half minutes to go, you never know. James O'Brien taking a convincing lead again into this latest restart. Mark Kaling gets loose and very nearly gets straight into the side of Luke Christian. He gets a hit off the rear from Jose Medina, and somehow we stay green. Oh, and we don't. Green. Not anymore. It was short-lived. A huge crash off of turn 2. Now, who was involved in that one? Jack Kibbe and Robert Bissell Jr. seem to be involved from the lead lap, and surely many others as well.
So far, we only have Kibbe and Bissell involved right into this.
Let's have a look. So it's off of turn 2. This is over the line to end the first lap of the restart. Kibbe's sort of on the outside. He gets turned by Kirby. Slight contact with Kirby. Huge hit with Denis. In the inside wall is Gabriel Perry. Rob Bissell Jr. has to come to a stop, but I don't think he's had any damage. What a huge hit that is. My goodness.
Yeah, I wonder who hit him, though, right there. Looks to be...
What a Warden hit him as well.
I think Kirby might have hit him.
Kirby hit Kibbe, and then Matthew Denis got into it. Alex Hillman as well, who I didn't spot. Warden, Perry and Bissell Jr. I did, who all got involved as well. Kibbe and Perry have both got meatball flags for their troubles, and that has seen them into pit lane, although not yet for Perry, but he may well retire now because he's already 11 laps off the next driver. This is a look from Warden, who would have seen it all unfold in front of him. Tried to slow down, but smashes straight into the side and gets hit from the rear as well by maybe Hillman or Bissell Jr., not sure.
I think Bissell hit him slightly, but I don't know if it was enough to spin him around. Now, you were talking about maybe green flag runs. I know for a fact, this is historical, I think. Bristol, I think, might be one of the most traditional tracks where yellows breed yellows.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, but we say that at the start of every race, and actually in the end here, we've had only 3 so far in 50 minutes, which is very good going. It's probably the fewest in a space of 50 minutes I've had commentating at Bristol anyway in a very long time. So, it is a different feel. There is a different feel to this race, but you get the feeling now that those two have come in quick succession, and this is going to snowball now in the last 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna snowball. I think having 3 yellow flags for 15 minutes of this race, it's really good. Let's just say my overall rating is 2.3. Okay, it's not the best. I was at 2.6. I need to get to someday I will get to 4K iRating. Not now. Someday. Don't know when. But in my split, I know for a fact, Ewan, I'll probably would have an officials already 10 yellow flags. Easy with 15 minutes of racing.
I know what you mean, yeah. It's a shame really, because racing in Bristol is a lot of fun, but can't be done cleanly often, which is a difficulty. But once you get 20 very highly skilled drivers, as we have in the PRL Cup Series, then we can get some good racing together. How are these last 10 minutes going to go then, I wonder, as we get ready for another restart? It's James O'Brien and Abner Acosta on the front row together. These two, by the way, are right up towards the top of... They're both in the top 10 of the all-time winners lists in the PRL, by the way. James O'Brien is 9th and Abner Acosta 2nd in the all-time list. They're sharing the front row for another restart here at Bristol. Less than 10 minutes to go. It's crunch time now in the first round of the Cup Series.
That bottom lane collapsed real quick.
Well, O'Brien left them all behind. Luke Christian slots into 3rd place. Again, John Marcel Gagnon, losing a position to Pat Harvey. Now it really is go time. It's time to find out who's good on the short run. And some of those who fell back earlier might start to just find a bit of speed here and find some ambition. Here goes Mark Kaelin to the inside, but more importantly for the lead, Abner Acosta has a spin-off of 4. Pat Harvey goes to the inside. Well, I think he saved it, but he's dropped from the top 5. There he is, chatting on the radio. He's made a huge save, but here it is for the lead. Abner Acosta in the 5, looking to go around the outside. He has the lead, and for the first time in ages, James O'Brien comes under pressure.
Yeah, and he's faltering. The car's not performing as probably he wants to, but then again, he blocks the lane of Christian and Kaelin on the outside and kills the tire momentum a little bit. Now is the opportunity for the 5 to get away right now.
Oh, look at this. James O'Brien all of a sudden getting schooled after leading for about 50 minutes. He took the lead, of course, very early away from Jean-Michel Gagnon, who took the pole position of this race. And Abner Acosta, from way down on the 7th or 8th row of the grid, is now in the lead. Here goes Mark Kaelin, who was very strong on a short run earlier on the bottom, looking to go again here into the side of Luke Christian. He's going to battle for 3rd, and Christian hangs on for the moment.
Yeah, and Kaelin, the problem with Kaelin being the 4th guy trying to move forward and having O'Brien and Christian in front of him is that he doesn't have too many lanes to work on. So he kind of has to force himself into one, and that kills the tire momentum. Not for Christian, though. Here he goes.
Yeah, Luke Christian, despite that contact, set his personal best lap time that last time around, by the way. It's very, very quick out there at the moment. Everybody knows it's go time, and for these final 10 minutes or so, they're battling hard for whatever they can. James O'Brien searching up high now, looking for the race lead in much the same way he did when he took it for the first time earlier on. Hasn't relinquished it until now, as he continues to search for his 25th win in the in the PRL. It's another yellow flag. The drivers again will have a huge decision to make in a few moments' time.
You really think someone's going to pit stop for a yellow for tires right here?
Alex Hillman, by the way, is the one who's caused it, is it? Yep, it is indeed. Yeah, I think someone towards the back end of the lead that might try it. Yeah, Pat Harvey's just had a huge slide and nearly crashed, of course. He's 11th. I don't see why not. And there you go. Luke Christian's in from 3rd. There are some big calls being made here, and I do not blame them at all. The new tyre benefit could be large. Rob Bissell Jr. is also in. He's towards the back. Yamas as well is into the pit lane. I don't blame these guys at all for making a pit stop at this stage.
I'm gonna make a very good quote, taking off from the best movie ever made in history, Dodgeball, a true dodgeball history. That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
It is, but I like it. Luke Christian will be starting from 9th. Sorry?
No, I was gonna say I like the strategy as well. I don't know, but the problem is you're gonna be relegated, I would say, to into the mid pack, and then again, if you have back markers right in front of you, how are you gonna negotiate with that? Surely you're gonna have more grip, but it's gonna get complicated. For example, Christian P9 is gonna be really the 9th car within this row, or if there are back markers right in the middle, that differentiate Jesus English things whenever you go to a green flag run.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be less than 10 laps to go of racing as well, to be fair, so I take your point. It is going to be tricky. Pace car laps, by the way, around here, about 45 seconds. I believe they're going to be going too wide now, are they? Or is there one more lap of single file before then? Looks like we've got another lap of single file first. So yeah, it'll be 3 minutes to go when we go back green again. What's that? 12 laps at most. So yeah, not very many laps. Lou Christian will be starting from 8th place. Pat Harvey's now decided to come in second time round, and he'll drop to the back. But yeah, it's going to be difficult in the laps remaining. And of course, you always fear as well how long is actually going to be spent under green in this next restart.
Yeah, there's, like we said, there's the danger of yellow breeding yellows, but then again, if you're Acosta, if you're O'Brien, if you're Kalen, Guillaume, I think there's a certain point where you didn't have the longest of runs through the green, in the green flag, that you can kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna risk it. I think there is a lot of grip to be found right here early on. And the guys that actually put tires are going to find themselves into trouble trying to make through the field. But then again, I don't make the rules. I don't make how the car gritty up the gritting rules were in this series. So you can only see the pressure already being applied by Kalen and Acosta.
Look at this, everybody's so ready for this restart. They know this could be it with 3 minutes to go. Everyone outside the top 7 on new tyres here on the lead lap as the PRL Cup Series first round comes to a conclusion here at Bristol. Over the line for Abner Acosta as he tries to take another victory in the PRL. He takes it through turn 1 and 2, and there it is immediately. There is the incident immediately that could seal the race. Caution's out, Brandon Walters involved. Abner Acosta leads, that could be it. Brandon Walter is the one who brings out the caution itself. He's facing backwards, and Luke Christian is as well. He's taken a huge gamble as Christian, and in hindsight, he probably regrets it. He was the one who caused it as well. He got into the back of the 99. Pat Harvey had nowhere to go. It was Christian into the back of the 99. Spun him around, spun himself around, and the yellow flag's out.
But also, Harvey must be fuming right now as well. I think he not only had the half spin and trying to go for a tire strategy also didn't play out right there. Got one position surely, but comparison to where he was on the prior restart is just not ideal. And we got the wave around. We're gonna have 2 laps to go. If they cross it with about 130.
Yeah, I can't see them getting back in time.
Yeah.
I think this could be it. I think Abner Acosta is on his way to his 81st victory in the Precision Racing League. Would you believe it? Second all time. He's still only got 2/3. Would you believe this? He's got exactly, not quite exactly, he's 1 win short of having 66% recurring of Bradley Holly's wins. He's on 123. Still a very long way to go until Abner Acosta catches him, but he'll be very pleased to grab his 81st if indeed he does now. And wouldn't have liked to have been under these circumstances, of course. However, he'll take it, and he's raced well to get there as well from near the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is pretty much it. I think we got to get a green flag running with the cars grading side by side. That's pretty much it. There you go. They take 47 seconds. They're going to cross with about 30 to go. So you're going to see Barney waving that flag real soon.
Let's see what flag is he going to pick up now. Oh, still yellow.
I think this is going to end in the yellow with the checker flag right after that.
Well, I think so as well, but I'm not entirely sure if they run longer, if they run overtime, if indeed they run longer than a timed race. I know they would in a laps race, but do we run longer? The fact that we've not gone double file, as you say, suggests that Abner Acosta is about to take a race victory here. The seconds tick by, the hour has elapsed now, and the white flag is waving as far as we can see. And it looks like Abner Acosta is going to take round one from behind the pace car. His 81st win in the Precision Racing League, probably not his sweetest victory in terms of crossing the line moment. However, he will take it. Maybe. Still showing final lap at the moment. I'm not seeing a checkered flag just yet. Well, we continue for now.
Hey, Barney, help us out right here, man.
Show us something, Barney, please. We're not seeing a double file forming. We're not seeing a white flag and a checkered flag being waved yet either. So this is getting bizarre now.
But then again, let's remind ourselves, this is not the first time it happened.
The green flag's in the hand now for some reason, and now he picks up a different flag, and now he picks up the checkered flag. So 1 lap behind schedule. Barney finally decides to throw the checkered flag. And it is Abner Acosta's 81st victory in the Precision Racing League. He takes round 1 of the PRL Cup Series for the final season in 2024. And private label Team Hype start off exactly where they left off after a season away from the PRL in the Cup Series. This series is back with a bang, with a brilliant Bristol race. And Abner Acosta, the familiar victor at the end of it. James O'Brien will be disappointed to finish down in second place in the end there, because he led throughout much of that, but thoroughly deserves a place in the top 3. And I believe that Jean-Michel Gagnon is going to get a return from his pole position into 3rd at the end. There's the burnout and the donuts from Acosta. The victor again, a position he's very, very familiar with in the Precision Racing League. Oh, he could have done that a little bit better though, as he taps the front straight wall, burns it down on the front straight. They don't produce very much smoke, these cars these days, do they? There you go.
Yeah, but then again, it's Bristol. It's not one of the easiest tracks for you to do some wheelies and donuts. So
there we go. Bit of smoke, but it's barely smoke. Anyway, the results, by the way, I'll run through the top 10 for you. Because on our end, it's got Abner Acosta 2 laps down in 12th. That's not correct. He's won the race here ahead of James O'Brien and Jean-Michel Gagnon. Mark Kalin and Stephen Kirby, we believe, have finished inside the top 5 with Jose Medina, Robert Bistro Jr., Pat Harvey, Unai Ilmas and Mathieu Denis rounding out the top 10. Those are all provisional, of course, subject to post-race stewards' decisions. But those are the top 10 results after tonight's racing at Bristol. Well, we got 187 laps in the end, Lorenzo. That was quite a lot, actually, considering what you can get around this circuit. Under green, that's about 45 minutes of green flag racing or something, but a very good race, actually, overall. Thoroughly enjoyed the PRL's return to a Cup Series in the final part of 2024.
yeah, good to see the Battle of Bristol over here for oval racing in the Cup Series. Good to see the return right into Tennessee, in the middle of Tennessee. So we're not going to go far. We're going to go to Kansas. So next race should be quite enticing of sorts. The race is going to play out kind of like similarly tire racing of sorts. But this first race delivers some really good action. I'm impressed. Looking forward to the next ones.
My American geography not good enough to tell you that Kansas is near to Tennessee, but I'll take your word for that because I'll trust you more with it. So, as you say, Kansas coming up in 1 week's time. Super Speedway racing on the 6th of October, by the way, followed by road course racing, then a couple of mile and a half. We'll be short track racing again in the 3rd of November. That's at Martinsville Speedway, followed by shortish track racing at Phoenix after that, and Atlanta as well to round out the season. Make sure you join us again at 9 p.m. Eastern for Kansas Speedway at the 29th of September. Same time, same place here live on RaceSpotTV. But more to the point, every single night from now until Thursday, there's live Precision Racing League action for around 8:30 Eastern time here live on RaceSpotTV. So make sure you join us for all of the different series that are still to come. Abner Acosta took his time getting here, but now he is waiting for us to interview him. So I will quickly come and chat to him because he's there waiting. Abner, welcome and good to have you with us. You must be pleased to have won for the first time in this series, for the first round of this series, excuse me. How was that race for you generally, coming through the pack?
Yeah, it felt good. I did really bad with the tires at the beginning. I even got a tire warning, so I was doing really terrible. So the yellow flags kind of saved me, and I was able to kind of match up with James at the end, but definitely got saved by the yellow flags. So, yeah.
Is that race a little bit of a preview of the season, do you think? Is it going to be between you and James?
I don't know. I think I saw the new like some new faces. Like I think the guy that qualified first, or I forgot his name, but you know, he qualified first, I think, and then you know, it's probably gonna get faster. So we'll see. But yeah, James and me are definitely gonna be pretty fast. I know Pat's fast as well, and Lou and a bunch of other guys. So we'll see.
We will indeed. Congratulations on the win tonight at Bristol, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks very much, Abner Acosta there chatting to us just ahead of James O'Brien, who finished in second. Welcome, James. Good to have you with us. Are you disappointed to have missed out on the win, or are you pleased with second place?
A little disappointed. I definitely had the fastest car. Even Abner was telling me, he's like, there's no way every time a yellow would come out, and I just took a while to get going, so I was better on the long run than short run, but it was fun.
Were the long runs something you planned for, and did you feel that others were underprepared for those long runs that came?
Yeah, I think now that these are timed races and not lap duration, or about like 150 lap races or whatnot, people are more inclined to push because they see a smaller number. And 10 minutes here is almost 30 laps, so I mean, that's a long way. So yeah, at the beginning of the first stint, I was parking it in the turns and kind of rolling the center really weak or really slowly to save, and it paid off. And I'm usually pretty good at long run with this car, so I pride myself in that, but I can't predict the cautions.
Absolutely. You're probably right, by the way. We got through 187 laps there.
That's pretty good.
We might not have done that duration if it had been a lap race, so you're probably right. Commiserations on second place, or congratulations, depending on how you want to view it, and on second place, and thanks for chatting to us as well.
Yeah, no worries. Have a great night, guys.
Thanks very much. James O'Brien there, second place at the end of Bristol tonight. Well, what a show we've had. What a start to the Precision Racing League for another season. For the next 9 weeks, from Sunday to Thursday, we'll have racing every night from about 8:30 Eastern or 9 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you tune in to RaceSpotTV live for that, though. From myself, Ian Leary, and Lorenzo Bonder alongside me with Hugo Louise behind the cameras, it's goodbye from Bristol, and see you tomorrow night for more PRL.